Greetings, my dear viewers. It is I, Drayhon, and welcome back to Dungeons & Dragons Character Conversion. If you are new to this channel, or to this series, then I will tell you that Dungeons & Dragons Character Conversion is the series where I take a look at different characters or people from real life or from fiction and translate them into a Dungeons & Dragons style, using the lore and history of those characters to make said playable characters. I actually have a playlist over on my channel, so if you want to go ahead and watch the whole entire series, I actually would love that. Without further ado, though, let's go ahead and get right into the video. And we are going to be doing the penguins from the Madagascar franchise. We have Skipper, Kowalski, Rico, and Private. So let's go ahead and get straight into it. And we're actually going to be doing a different system from what we normally do on this channel. And we're going to use the standard array for our stats. That is 15, 14, 13, 12, 10, and 8. Organized as we wish. Now, I'm not going to tell you exactly what order we're doing because I want to try to make this video short. But we are going to have a +2 going to our dexterity. And we're also having a +1 that's going to be from something different. And I'll tell you what that different is here in a second. But the +1 is going into our charisma. Now, for race, we're going with custom lineage. This will give us the +2 to our dexterity that I talked about a second ago. We'll get a speed of 30 feet. We are going to be grabbing a skill. We're going to go with nature. For our feat, we're going to grab actor, which gives us that +1 to charisma that I mentioned. We're also going to grab the languages common and undercommon. Now, I can already hear you in the comments saying, Drayhon, why didn't you go with Kenku? Kenkus are flightless avians. And the only flightless avians within Dungeons & Dragons that you can play as. Those are the closest things we'll ever get to a penguin. Why didn't you just go with those? I hear you. Kenku would actually be a very good race to be going with. If you are going with Adventures League, which they are in fact Adventures League legal. However, I feel that the Kenku does not fit with the penguins as far as lore goes, and as far as mechanics go. With the Kenku, they only have the ability to mimic sounds and voices they have heard. True, they can talk to each other just fine, but that's about it. So that's why I went with custom lineage. That way we can actually have the common and undercommon languages, in addition to the actor's feat that has a very similar aspect to the Kenku's mimicry. So that's why I went with it instead of just going straight Kenku. Though if you are making an Adventures League legal character, I would recommend grabbing Kenku. Alright, with that explained, let's move on to background. Now, I was having a hard time deciding what background to go with for the penguins, and I found two that somewhat fit. The spy background, which is the criminal background variant, does fit somewhat as far as mechanics go. You get the skills deception and stealth for your proficiencies, as well as tool proficiencies in Dragon Chess, and it says Thieves Tools, but I went with the Disguise Kit since we were able to change things around. You'll get to feature Criminal Contact, and this is where I have a problem using this background. The penguins aren't really criminals. They're spies, yes, but I wouldn't call them criminals. So that's why I decided to also put in the secret identity. Proficiencies in stealth and deception. You get disguise kit and forgery kit. Your proficiencies as well, and you get the feature secret identity, which actually fits a little bit more in line with how the penguins operate. Now, Skipper, he actually shows more of a marine background. So if you wanted to go with that, I would not stop you. He seems to have some sort of army vibe going on with him. Especially when he calls private, well, private. Moving on to class, we are going to go with the rogue for all 4 of the penguins. That's how they operate. Again, they're spies, they're secret agents. That's how they do. You get a D8 hit die, and you get your starting hit points of 8 plus your Constitution modifier. That depends on which penguin you're playing as, so I'm not going to list them. For skills, grab Athletics, Acrobatics, Performance, and Sleight of Hand. Smile and wave, boys. Smile and wave. Speaking of, you're going to get expertise in stealth and performance. That way you can look more like a penguin. Sneak attack and thieves' cant are your last 2 rogue features. At level 2 rogue, you get the cunning action feature. Now, as we have hit level 2, I'm going to go ahead and start diversing into the 4 penguins. Starting off with, of course, the leader, Skipper, who is going to get an additional class in the monk. It'll give us an extra D8 hit die with more hit die, yada yada. The important thing here is the monk features unarmored defense and martial arts. Technically, all 4 of the penguins have shown martial arts within both the movies and in the TV series. But I am only doing this with Skipper. Level 3 rogues get a roguish archetype. We're going to go with the Inquisitive Rogue. Now, I would actually have this for all 4 of the penguins, but I feel there are other subclasses that might fit those penguins better. So Skipper's going to be one of the only 2 that are getting the Inquisitive archetype. The Inquisitive archetype, by the way, gives you the features Ear for Deceit, Eye for Detail, and Insightful Fighting. You also have the optional feature of getting Steady Aim. Level 4 rogues get an ability score improvement. Go ahead and round off your dexterity and your charisma, each by 1, making it an 18 on your dexterity and 14 on your charisma. Level 6 rogues get more expertise. Go ahead and grab Athletics and Acrobatics for that expertise, adding 2 of your proficiency bonuses. For level 2 monk, we get Key and Unarmored Movement for a little faster speed. Level 3 monk get a Monastic Tradition. We're going with Open Hand, so you can get the Open Hand technique. It's flippers, no fingers, so it's automatically an open hand. There's no joke there, it's just an observation. Moving on to level 4 monk, we get Slow Fall, and we can go with an ability score improvement, or we can go with a feat. I decided to go with a feat and get Resilient, so we can increase our wisdom by 1 more point. And we also get proficiency in wisdom saving throws. The next penguin we're going to go over is after this last level in Monk, Extra Attack and Stunning Strike. Because, the karate chop to the neck. So now that I've covered that part, the next penguin is Kowalski, who is going to be getting a multi-class into Artificer since he is the tech genius. 1d8 hit die, of course, magical tinkering, proficiency in Tinker's tools, and you also get the Artificer's spellcasting, which uses intelligence as your spellcasting modifier and save DCs. And you also have ritual casting. Level 2 Artificers get Infuse Item. Level 3 Artificers get Right Tool for the Job, which I have been forgetting in all of my Artificer builds. I have no idea why, so forgive me if you notice that in some of my Artificer builds. Anyways, Artificer Specialist, we're going with Alchemist. This will give us tool proficiencies in Alchemist supplies. For Alchemist spells, we'll get Healing Word and Ray of Sickness. We also get Experimental Elixir. He really likes to experiment with his toys. Sometimes it blows up in his face. Literally. Level 4 Artificers get an ability score improvement. Go ahead and increase Intelligence and Charisma each by 1. Level 5 Artificers get Alchemical Savant. Level 6 Artificers get Tool Expertise. That'll double your proficiency bonus while you're using your tools. Level 3 Rogues get the Roguish Archetype. We're going to go with Inquisitive for Kowalski, since he does have an ear for deceit, eye for detail, and insightful fighting, just like the class features. You also get Steady Aim as an optional feature. Thank you, Tasha's Cauldron of Everything. And level 4 Rogues can get an ability score improvement or a feat. We're going with feat, and we're going to grab Keen Mind, which will increase our wisdom by 1 point, and we also get some additional features from Keen Mind that actually fit well with Kowalski. Kowalski Analysis! I analyze that our next penguin is going to be Rico. And there wasn't really a multi-class option that really fit. Barbarian was actually the closest I can think of just because he is the demolitions expert. So 1d12 hit die, an extra 1d12 plus your constitution modifier per barbarian level. You get proficiencies in shields, simple weapons, and martial weapons. You get rage and unarmored defense. Kowalski seems to be a walking bag of holding, so for Rico is the walking bag of holding, so you might want to have Kowalski make a bag of holding so Rico can carry it around in his stomach. Okay, that part was a joke. I honestly wanted to make Rico an Artificer because he seems like a walking bag of holding, but I decided against it. Moving on to level 2 Barbarian, we get Reckless Attack and Danger Sense, which also have been forgetting in some of my Barbarian builds, so forgive me if I've missed this. Level 3 Barbarians get a Primal Path, and I'm going to do something a little bit different from what I've normally done, and that is the Way of the Depths. This is from the Runeterra partner book. I've done Renegade in the past, and this time I'm doing the Depth one, which is kind of cool. And honestly, it fits in with Rico and all the other penguins, for that matter, because it gives them a swim speed. I almost went to Lokatha just to get that swim speed, but I decided against it because of Barbarian. Primal Path of the Depths gives us a swim speed thanks to Gift of the Drowned Ones. And we also get Dredge Line. This gives Rico an extra appendage to attack with when he rages, which is hilarious because he does barf up an anchor, which is one of the appendages it lists as an example, which is hilarious. So that kind of writes itself. So we're going with it. It's hilarious. It actually works with how Rico operates. Level 4 Barbarians get an ability score improvement. Go ahead and increase your strength and your charisma each by 1. Level 5 Barbarians get extra attack and fast movement. Level 6 Barbarians of the Depths get Ghost Water Dive. This is also an interesting feature. Similar to how the Misty Step works, or how the Shadow Archives work. And Shadow Monks. Similar to Shadow Monks. You dive into a body of water, and then you reappear somewhere else. And then you can make an extra attack as part of that action. Which is kind of cool. I like it. We're going forward to level 7 Barbarian, which gives you Feral Instinct. Level 8 Barbarians get an ability score improvement or a feat. We're grabbing a feat, we're grabbing Resilient, we're going to use Constitution, giving us a 16 on it. And we also have proficiency in Constitution saving throws. Let's go ahead and dive right into our last penguin. Private, who's multi-classing into V! Why is Private a bard? He's not a bard. Why do we have it on the slideshow? Fine. Private's going to multi-class into a bard. I'll let this slide just this once. If it weren't for that movie, Private would not be a bard. He would just been full-on rogue. So, what do we get with a bard? Well, we get a 1d8 hit die, which we've already had, so that doesn't matter. Proficiencies, we get an extra skill proficiency. Persuasion, we get an extra tool proficiency, an instrument of choice. We get spellcasting, which uses charisma, and we get bardic inspiration. I am not happy about the fact that we are doing a multi-class into bard with a character that doesn't use magic. Not happy. You did make Sonic an Artificer, though, when he wasn't really an Artificer. He was friends with Eggman. He had an excuse. Moving on to level 2 Bard, we get Jack of all trades and Song of Rest. Another reason why I don't like the idea of Bard. Anyway, moving on to level 3 Bard, we're going to grab expertise in Persuasion and Deception. We also get a Bardic College. Grab Eloquence. You get Silver Tongue and Unsettling Words. Probably the only thing that actually fits Private with the Bard. But whatever! Moving on to level 4 Bard, go ahead and increase your Charisma by 2, making it an 18. Private is one of the most charismatic penguins, so yes, definitely. Level 5 Bards get a Fount of Inspiration. Level 6 Bards get Counter Charm, and thanks to your College of Eloquence, you get Unfailing Inspiration and Universal Speech. Very useful. Level 8 Bards get an ability score improvement or a feat. We're going to grab feat, we're going to grab Resilient, and we're going to be increasing Wisdom by 1 point so we can get proficiency in Wisdom saving throws. And there you go, my dear viewers. That is all 4 of the penguins. I would have had V splice in some some sounds from the show and movies. However, we have come short on time, so I am recording this a little bit later than I usually do. And it's going to be uploaded a little bit later than I would have intended, so we're not doing that. So apologies on that, but I hope you enjoyed nonetheless. This has been the Penguins of Madagascar, and this has been Drahan. And until next time, I am offline.